Her eyes were closed, yet the visions in her mind grew sharper. Clara knew she was in a hospital room. The soft shuffles of nurses' feet, the steady beep of machines, and the acrid clinical smell of antiseptic marched relentlessly forward, trapping her consciousness. Her body was motionless, like stone. She couldn't even twitch a finger, yet memories surged back like a tidal wave. That morning, she had been driving to a crucial board meeting, her mind already racing with the agenda. Suddenly, the call from David, her husband, came through. She rarely answered the phone while driving, but thinking it urgent, she put him on speaker. "Clara, where are you? I'm waiting." His voice sounded strangely strained. "I'm just cresting the bridge. I'll be there in 5 minutes," she replied. "Drive safely." That was all he said, a simple phrase whose unnatural tone she failed to notice at the time. As she crested the bridge, she pressed the brake to slow down, her anxiety about the meeting urging caution, but there was no response. Instead of slowing, the car accelerated wildly. Panic seized her as she stomped the brake pedal again and again. With a jolt, she realized the truth. The brake lines must have been cut. She crashed into the barrier, and the car plunged downward, leaving a blank screen in her memory. A sound, a flash of light, pain and then darkness. She could recall everything. She tried to control her mind, but her body was completely unresponsive. Her tongue felt dry, and her eyes remained glued shut. No matter how hard she tried, she couldn't produce a single reaction, not even a faint beep of life. She was a prisoner trapped in a silent cell. Clara's body showed no change, yet her awareness grew clearer. She could isolate and identify every surrounding noise. Doctors visited daily, conducting examinations, nodding hopefully and leaving. But day after day, nothing changed. One afternoon, she heard the door to her room open. "How is she today?" A man's voice. It was David. A wave of relief washed over her. He had finally come to her. "No change, sir. The doctor will be here shortly," a woman replied. It was Michelle, her personal assistant. After the doctor left, David and Michelle were alone in the room. Their voices dropped to a low, conspiratorial murmur. The doctor said she might not wake up. David's voice was filled with a chilling sense of relief and satisfaction. Clara's heart stopped for a moment. She trembled internally, but her body remained still. "So, our plan worked then?" Michelle asked. "It doesn't look like she'll recover. The brake failure worked better than we hoped," David replied. His words stabbed through her heart with searing pain. Her husband, David, the man she had loved and trusted for life, had tried to kill her. The sound of their shared laughter made Clara's heart pound faster. Were they truly behind this accident? Was her own husband trying to take her life? In those moments of unconsciousness, Clara's mind traveled back to the past. Her love for David, the support she gave him to pursue his dreams, the decision to make an ordinary employee a part of her life. She remembered his loving words and his smile, but now, all she heard was the sound of his betrayal. To her, money was everything. "I was just an employee," David was telling Michelle. "She treated me with disdain, like I was a commoner. When I presented the best project of my life, she dismissed it. It crushed my pride." David's voice was saturated with resentment. Michelle had always been envious of Clara, wishing she could be in her position. She had slowly poisoned David's mind, driving a wedge between him and Clara. "You aren't getting the recognition your talent deserves because of her stubbornness," Michelle had told him repeatedly. Slowly, David succumbed to Michelle's influence. Listening to their conversation, Clara wondered where she had gone wrong in her life. Hours turned into days, and days into weeks. Clara lay helpless. She learned that David was secretly transferring assets and forging documents. They also spoke about Victor, a former employee of Clara's business, who was highly suspicious of David's moves. One day, when Dr. Ethan Cole came into her room, she struggled fiercely to communicate. "My husband tried to murder me. Please, don't tell anyone. They want to kill me." Her voice was faint, but he heard it. He understood the intense fear and pain in her eyes. He was momentarily stunned, but as a doctor he couldn't dismiss his patient's words. He gently held her hand. "I will help you," he whispered. Those words were a powerful medicine. Dr. Cole began to secretly investigate Clara's situation. He grew suspicious of David's behavior and Michelle's excessive interest. Around this time, Nurse Helen entered Clara's room. Though Clara's body was still, Helen sensed that she had something to say. Having had a similar experience with another patient, Helen quickly understood Clara's state. Helen and Dr. Cole teamed up to help Clara. Helen revealed that David was attempting to have Clara's life support removed. They realized she was in grave danger. Dr. Cole shared the evidence he had, Clara's words, and Helen believed him. The team to save Clara was growing. On the other side was Alex, the man who had pulled Clara from the wreckage. David had threatened Alex to keep quiet, but Alex had told Victor. Victor was already suspicious of David and had been investigating his financial transactions in secret. Alex's account of the accident and Victor's investigation were serendipitous. Their meeting was a major turning point. They shared the information they had, uncovering David's financial frauds. The alliance between Victor and Alex became a huge asset for Clara. The time to save Clara's life was running out. Dr. Cole, Helen, Victor, and Alex devised a plan. Dr. Cole tried to argue against removing life support using Clara's real medical reports, but David's insistence led the hospital committee to approve the removal. However, without arousing any suspicion from David and Michelle, they secretly placed an audio recording device in the room. This device began recording all conversations. According to the plan, Victor and Alex handed the information they had collected to the police. But the police needed solid proof. On the day the life support was set to be removed, the hidden audio recorder captured a conversation between David and his lawyer. They discussed transferring Clara's assets to his name and fabricating a case against Victor. "She won't wake up now," David said. "She won't feel any pain when the life support is removed. All the assets have been transferred into my name," he added. Clara could hear Michelle mocking her and telling David how she had forged the signatures on the documents. "Our games aren't over, David. Even when she's gone, the fortune will be safe in our hands," Michelle said, laughing. Listening to everything, Clara was racked with pain, but she knew this was the moment. Her return to life. Without giving David and Michelle any hint of her returning awareness, she bravely opened her eyes. Slowly, she began to speak. "My husband tried to kill me. These two were trying to steal my assets," she said, her voice weak but clear. David and Michelle were stunned into silence. At that very moment, Dr. Cole, Helen, and the police entered the room. "These are my husband David and his assistant Michelle. They are responsible for my accident. Arrest them," Clara stated. The police immediately took them into custody. Clara slowly began to walk again. She wasn't alone. Helen, Dr. Cole, Alex, and Victor were by her side. The experience had made her stronger. She eventually rewarded everyone who helped save her. Alex was hired by her company. Victor was made a business partner. She maintained a friendship with Dr. Cole, and she developed a strong bond with Nurse Helen. From a crippling setback, she rose with renewed self-assurance. Having reclaimed her life and future, she began a new chapter.